Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, we would like to present about macroeconomic in Turkey. First of all, let me introduce my group members. We have Husna Nashin binti Halim, Nur Inshira Sufia binti Khairuzan, and I am Nur Aisyah Shazina binti Nurazwan. Background of Turkey. Turkey is a transcontinental nation with a majority of its territory in Western Asia Anatolia Peninsula and a tiny fraction in Southwest Asia's Balkan Peninsula. The current population of Turkey was estimated at 87,10,619 as of June 15, 2023. Unemployment rate. In April 2023, Turkey's unemployment rate increased to 10.2%, a 4-month hike from a previous month upwardly revised to 10.1%. In addition, a total of 208 million people will be unemployed worldwide with a 5.8% unemployment rate. Last, Turkey's inflation rate was 85.51% in October 2022, the highest inflation rate recorded during the provided time period. As of April 2023, year-on-year change in Consumer Price Index (CPI) stood at 43.68%, the lowest value since January 2022.
I will present types of inflation and unemployment. In types of inflation, we have three. The first is demand impulse. Demand impulse inflation occurs when the demand for goods and services outpaces the supply. Demand impulse also can be happen when the economy is growing rapidly or when there is a sudden increase in demand. The next types in inflation is cost push inflation. Cost push inflation occurs when the cost of producing goods and services increase. Cost push inflation also can be happen when there is a rise in wages, a shortage of raw materials, or a price rise in the price of import goods. The last types of inflation is imported inflation. Imported inflation occurs when the price of import goods and services rise. Imported inflation also happen when the value of the Turkish lira falls or when the price of goods and services in other countries rise. Next, imported inflation also increase global demand for goods and services and rise in price of commodities. Next, types of unemployment. The unemployment rate in Turkey in 2023 is 10.2%. This means that out of every 1,000 people in the labor force, 10 are not unemployed. The unemployment rate has been relatively stable in recent years, but it remains a significant challenge for the Turkish economy. The first types of unemployment is structural unemployment. Structural unemployment is types of unemployment that arises from long-term changes in the economy. Structural unemployment occurs when there is a mismatch between the skills of workers and the skills required for the jobs that are available. Structural unemployment happen when there are rapid changes in the economy, such as when a new technology makes some jobs obsolete. Next, the unemployment rate in structural unemployment has been consistently above 10% and it has reached as high as 40% in recent years. The next types of unemployment, we have seasonal unemployment. In 2022, the seasonally adjusted unemployment rate in Turkey was 11.2%. Impact of seasonal unemployment is felt most by young people and women. Seasonal unemployment also occurs when there are certain times of the year when there are fewer jobs available. Seasonal unemployment can be happen in industries that are affected by the weather. Seasonal unemployment also is typically short-term and not considered a serious problem. The last types of unemployment is cyclical unemployment. Cyclical unemployment occurs as a result of changes in aggregate demand in the economy. Aggregate demand falls, businesses produce less output, which leads to layoffs. For cyclical unemployment, the unemployment rate in Turkey was 14.7% in the December until February period of 2023, its highest level in nearly a decade due to economic recession. Next, I will present the effect of unemployment and inflation in Turkey. The effects of inflation refers to the sustained increase in the general price level of goods and services in an economy over time. High inflation, volatile inflation can have several effects on an economy, which are reduced purchasing power, uncertainty and reduced investment, redistribution of wealth, increased production costs, and impact on interest rate. The first is reduced purchasing power. Reduced purchasing power. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of individuals and households. If the prices rise, the same amount of money buys fewer goods and services, leading to a decrease in the standard of living. Next is uncertainty and reduced investment. High inflation introduces uncertainty into the economy, making it difficult for businesses to plan for the future. This uncertainty can discourage investment as businesses are unsure about the future profitability of their venture. The next effect of inflation is redistribution of wealth. Inflation can redistribute wealth within the economy. Those with fixed income or saving, such as retirees or low-income individuals, may struggle to keep up with rising prices. The next effect of inflation is increased production costs. Businesses face higher costs due to rising input prices, such as raw materials and wages. This increased production costs can lead to reduced profitability and potentially result in job losses or reduced output. The last effect of inflation in Turkey is interest rates. Central banks often respond in inflation by raising interest rates to curb spending and reduce price pressure. Higher interest rates can make borrowing more expensive, potentially affecting consumer spending and investment. Next is effects of unemployment. The effects of unemployment in Turkey, we have economic slowdown, reduced income and poverty, strain on government resources, social and psychological impact, skill deterioration and future productivity, and impact on youth and long-term unemployment. The first effect of unemployment in Turkey is economic slowdown. If the economic slowdown, high unemployment rates indicate a lack of job opportunities and can be a sign of an economic slowdown. When a significant portion of the workforce is unemployed, it leads to a decrease in consumer spending, which can further dampen economic growth. The next effect is reduced income and poverty. Reduced income and poverty, unemployment results in a loss of income for individuals and households. Without a steady source of income, individuals and families may struggle to meet their basic needs, potentially leading to increased poverty rates. And they also make a decline in living standards. After that, we also have a effect of unemployment is strain on government resources. Unemployment places a burden on government resources as they may need to provide unemployment benefits or other forms of social assistance to support those who are unemployed. The next effect is social and psychological impact. Unemployment can have a negative social and psychological effects on individuals and communities. Joblessness can lead to feelings of frustration, lower self-esteem, and social exclusion. In addition, the effect of unemployment in Turkey is deterioration and future productivity. Prolonged unemployment can result in a loss of skills and work experience. When individuals remain out of work of extended periods, their skills may become outdated or less relevant to the job market. Lastly, the effect of unemployment in Turkey is youth and long-term unemployment. Youth and long-term unemployment is high levels of unemployment, particularly among young people, can have long-lasting effects on their career prospects and overall economic mobility.
Hi, I will present ways to overcome the inflation and unemployment in Turkey. To overcome inflation in Turkey, there are several measures that can be considered. It's important to note that addressing inflation requires a combination of fiscal, monetary, and structural policies. Here are some possible ways to tackle inflation, which tighten monetary policy, fiscal discipline, structural reform, strengthening the banking sector, independent supply-side policy, exchange rate management, and communication and transparency. The first way to overcome the inflation in Turkey is tighten monetary policy. The central bank can increase interest rate to reduce the money supply, which can help curb inflationary pressure. Higher interest rate can discourage borrowing and spending, reducing demand pull inflation. Next, fiscal discipline. The government should pursue prudent fiscal policy by reducing budget deficit and public debt. This can be achieved by cutting unnecessary expenditure, improving tax collection, and promoting efficient public spending. In addition, structural reform is one of the ways to overcome the inflation in Turkey. Implementing structural reform to enhance productivity, increase competitiveness, and attract investment can help address underlying causes of inflation. This reform may include improving the business environment, reducing bureaucracy, promoting labor market flexibility, and investing in infrastructure. Moreover, strengthening the banking sector. Ensuring the stability and resilience of the banking sector is crucial for controlling inflation. Supervisory measures and
regulations should be in place to prevent excessive lending and speculative activities that can fuel inflationary pressure. Besides that, independent. Enhancing central bank, the people in Turkey also must be independent to overcome the inflation, with maintaining the independence of the central bank is vital for effective monetary policy. Shielding the central bank from political interference help ensure the decisions are made based on economic consideration rather than short-term political objectives. Moreover, supply-side policies encouraging increased production and supply of goods and services can alleviate inflationary pressure. This may involve supporting domestic industry, promoting competition, and reducing barrier to entry for new businesses. Next is exchange rate management. A stable and appropriate exchange rate policy can help mitigate inflation. Ensuring that the exchange rate is consistent with economic fundamentals can support price stability and prevent imported inflation. And the last way to overcome inflation is communication and transparency. Effective communication by policymakers about their inflation fighting strategies and objectives can help manage inflation expectation. Transparency in monetary and fiscal policies, building credibility, and foster trust in the government ability to control inflation. Okay, now let's take a look at the ways to overcome the unemployment in Turkey. Addressing unemployment in Turkey requires a comprehensive approach that combines macroeconomic policies, labor market reform, and targeted measures to stimulate job creation. Here are some strategies to overcome unemployment in Turkey, which is promote economic growth, enhance education and skill, labor market reform, encourage entrepreneurship, and target support for vulnerable groups. Firstly, promote economic growth. Implement policies that support sustained economic growth as a key driver of job creation. This can be achieved through investment in infrastructure, fostering entrepreneurship and innovation, and providing a conducive business environment. Secondly, enhance education and skill. Focus on improving the quality of education and aligning it with the needs of the labor market. Invest in vocational training program and skill development initiatives to ensure that workers have the necessary skill demanded by industry. Thirdly is labor market reforms. Implement reform to enhance labor market flexibility and reduce labor market friction. This may involve streamlining regulation, reducing bureaucracy, and facilitating the ease of doing business. Flexibility in employment contract and the reduction of excessive restriction can encourage firms to hire more workers. Next, encourage entrepreneurship. Create an enabling environment for entrepreneurship and support small and medium-sized enterprises. Offer incentives such as tax breaks, access to financing, and streamline bureaucratic procedure to encourage business startup and expansion, which can lead to job creation. Lastly is targeted support for vulnerable groups. This program can include target training, mentorship, and finance support to facilitate their integration into labor market. In the conclusion, addressing macroeconomic challenges in Turkey requires a multi-phase approach that combines monetary, fiscal, and structural policies. Meanwhile, structural reform should focus on improving productivity, competitiveness, and attracting investment. Next, growth and creating a favorable business environment are essential. Moreover, strengthening social safety nets and fostering public-private partnership are important aspects of addressing both inflation and unemployment. Lastly, these measures require coordination, collaboration, and long-term commitment from various stakeholders, including the government, businesses, education institutions, and civil society. That's all from me and my friend. Thank you.